joined by some of the winners from Origen.
Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, amazing. Back in Europe, back in form, back on our desk as well, and joined by Soaz after, well, Origen's gone 5-0 now, racking up to be really impressive so far. But in this game versus Unicorns of Love, who we know tend to throw some curveballs rather at times. Amazing. I'd love to have your take on picks and bans and how it ended up.
So our main objective when we play versus Unicorns, a team that really plays well around the mid lane, is just to take him out to a certain extent. I feel like Power of Evil is basically like the cornerstone of the team, and if he's unable to basically like poke out enemies with his like famous Varus, famous Karma, whatever it is, they just seem to fall apart because they just don't have the insane scaling coming in mid lane. They get outscaled in mid lane or maybe equally scaled, and hence they can't play on power spikes as well as they want to. And that was basically our main concern, and we managed to execute properly.
I feel like Expected did a phenomenal job just neutralizing that lane. Because in my head, the Cassiopeia-Orianna matchup feels slightly favored to a Cassiopeia, but he kept even in CS even slightly ahead. Is that something Expected is just really good at in recent games for you guys? Just like neutralizing mid lane, and then the rest seems to fight 4v4 until he eventually joins the fight?
I think Pekka is really good at doing this kind of job when there's like a farming lane or not so edgy matchup, like when he don't play into Fizz or this kind of assassin champion.
Yeah.
He tend to do a lot better, like farming. Yeah, he always have so much CS and deny the other mid laner from roaming and things like this.
So in the early game, right, if you go past picks and bans, you guys tried to focus the top side of the map a bit because you swapped away, I guess, I imagine, to keep that Ryze a little in a weaker state, but then went back up there and it didn't really go all right. Were you guys afraid at any point that the Ryze would start snowballing?
I played one time the matchup, Fizz into Ryze, and I thought it was fine as long as I have the long lane, because Ryze can get gank. He don't have so much mobility compared to Fizz that it's really hard to gank him, even though I have smite. So the only problem is that we made a play on top when the Rek'Sai was there, and we didn't really expect it, and Cassio moved a bit before than Peke as well. So he didn't being bad, and Maurice died. But,
Peter? All right, so the biggest question is, so we can get the first replay on your screen right now, and this is where Soaz goes to the bot lane, and I was just wondering, is this part of the Fizz game plan, or was this a reaction to the Ryze starting to snowball? Why were you ending up the bot lane? And we can roll the clip in the meanwhile.
I went into the bush first because I wanted to farm the wave, but they ended up pushing the turret for some reason. So since we saw them and I was hiding in the bush, Amazing said that he was coming. Mithi recalled in the same time as well and came bottom because they were pushing. And we ended up having 2 kills and Drake, I believe, at this point.
Yeah, almost gets away, but you guys managed to kill him. It took a while before the actual team fights started happening, which would tell a lot about the game. We're going to get the second replay up on the screen because it is a team fight in the mid lane that you guys ended up winning, but it seemed pretty close from our perspective. So Amazing, I'd love to know from your side, kind of, like, did you know the teleport was coming in? Did it come in too late for you? And when did you know that you had this fight? We can roll the clip.
Okay, so basically our thought process is that we have TP up and we communicate that we want to have the TP coming in. So we were prepared for this fight. We chunked out like Hylissang, we chunked out Kickers a bit, and we forced him into a choke where like Hylissang is basically like caught out, gets a bit of chunk, and our main concern is basically like to have like our Wombo combo come in properly and hit as many players as possible. And therefore like I tried to zone him with my ultimate into the Wombo combo and overall just like force them into little areas where they can't really like evade the Orianna QW combo or even QWR, and the Fizz afterwards coming in with a TP is basically just like underlining that we just really were strong at this point than they were, and we're in a better position on that team fight.
Did you at any point think you were going to lose that fight?
No, never.
Never?
As soon as you go in, it's either win or lose, but if you're confident in your team, you always win.
All right, you always win.
Well, that seems something that has been, if we've been watching you guys' replays, you guys get so aggressive sometimes in the early game. And we had a tweet up from you saying, well, the NA scene just seems a little stale. People don't take those individual risks. But I do feel when we watch your guys' replays at times, the dives early, sometimes you get away with a sliver of health. You can't keep saying it's all calculated.
What?
Is it?
Dude, nah, it's obviously like a bit of luck is always like playing into it, but overall, like I just feel like being as aggressive as possible is maximizing opportunities, and that's something I want to play for, and that's something I've been working for, and our team has been working for.
So we've seen Origen come in with tempered expectations. You guys like, yeah, we're gonna do all right, you know, Worlds maybe, but you know, 5-0, and every week you guys look dominant. Where is the ceiling for Origen?
I don't know. I didn't expect to be that big in the early of the season. our main goal, as we said before, was not to be like top 1, top 2. Is to have a good season and try to improve as much as we can during the season. But I think that we have a lot of potential.
Yeah, you can say that word.
We have a lot of potential, and I think we can do really well.
Yep, you guys are looking scary so far. I think we can all agree on that. 5-0 so far. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Another team that is doing very well so far is Giants. They are 3-1, and they are going up against the 1-3 Roccat after the break, so stay with us.
Audio check, can you guys hear me? Hands up!
Mayday.
Put your hands up in the air!
Put your hands up.
It's a 2-for-1 in favor of Origen, and Niels is landing those ricochets over and over. We do see Amazing going low, and Soaz is looking for some snake.
They have no flash Kalista, no flash Kalista, no flash Kalista. Nice! Good job, Holly.
We do see Pekka, he's stunned up by the petrifying gaze. Chachi has eaten some Chum the Waters, and Vardax forced to flash to safety on the hunt. Pop, we see the depth charge going out, the barrel going wide. Chachi's the first one to be focused, but it's Power that gives up his life. Origen, 5-0.